Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about a question that I get from pianists all the time, namely, how do I play softly at the piano? Maybe you've had this happen to you before, that you start a piece, you press down the keys, and nothing happens. Or maybe you're just having trouble gaining that control when you're playing softly and feeling really comfortably, being sure that all the notes come out. This can be a really tricky skill to master, but with a few special techniques and tricks, you'll find that soft playing at the piano is really no problem, and I want to talk about that today. So here's what happens a lot of times with beginning pianists or even intermediate pianists. They start to play a piece, and they press down the keys, and nothing happens. This happens. I press them down, there's no sound, right? And we wonder, what am I doing wrong? Or maybe it's a problem with the piano. Do I need to have my piano checked out? Chances are it has to do with the technique that you're using. And the first thing to know about this is that when you press down a piano key, and this is particularly true on acoustic instruments and especially on grand pianos, there are a lot of moving parts that have to move before the energy that I put into the keys gets transferred into actual output in the piano. And so what that means is when I press down a key, if I don't overcome this initial amount of resistance, then I hear absolutely nothing. And the friction in those almost hundreds of wooden parts in the action prevents the key from speaking. So the first tip I have for you, if you want to play softly, is that you have to be sure that you're playing deeply into the keys. If you press down only halfway or part way, which is a very natural reaction when you're playing softly, you'll find that nothing at all happens. So even when you're playing softly, and one could almost say especially when you're playing softly, you want to always feel like you're sinking down all the way into the bottom of the keys. And when you do that, I'm going to start, for example, the Moonlight Sonata here. You can be sure every time that those notes come out, right? I attack the first notes, I press to the bottom of the keys. They're soft, but because my attack is going all the way to the bottom, I can be sure every single time that those notes are going to speak really well. Now, going along with that, there's a second thing, which is that your attack has to be really confident. Even if you play to the bottom of the keys, if I sort of hesitate at the beginning and push down just a little bit before I go the rest of the way, you see again, nothing happens at all. And that's a very big beginner problem because people obviously feel a little bit self-conscious, especially when they're in front of a teacher. They don't want to hit any wrong notes. And so this attempting to be careful with the playing actually leads to more problems when playing softly and the notes just don't come out. So you have to attack really with confidence and from top to bottom, one motion, and then the notes come out every single time. Now, I've got some more tips and tricks for you, but before we get to that, if you're like a lot of pianists and you're frustrated learning piano from YouTube, you don't know what you need to know and in what order you need to know it, check out my online course, petersonpianoacademy.com. I've put together a comprehensive piano course that will take you from your first notes on the piano, will teach you to read music and take you all the way through more advanced techniques and pieces. Now back to playing softly. Okay, so here's another thing we can work on. When you're practicing exercises that you do all the time at the piano, like scales, arpeggios, and so forth, most piano students make this mistake. They play the scales and the arpeggios all the same way with the same kind of dynamic, sort of a mezzo forte sound. Now this is great for building up some fluidity at the piano, but it's not going to help you learn to play softly. If you want to learn to play softly and really develop that control at the piano, what you have to do is to really make sure that you're incorporating soft piano playing into your piano practice. So that when you play the scales, for example, you're also practicing and really training your fingers, your nervous system to play at a soft dynamic as well. Now there's one more tip, and I think this might be the most important one. You have to remember also that piano is not just a dynamic level, it's first and foremost a character. It's a character for the music, and that means that there's nobody standing there with a decibel meter measuring your playing, saying, "Oh, he played 12 decibels and or 20 decibels or whatever, and it's marked piano, and piano is so many decibels." That has nothing to do with piano playing. So imagine a lot of times when you're playing a piano piece, a piece marked piano or pianissimo, remember that if you're in a concert setting, you still have to project the melody out into the hall. So a lot of pieces that are really marked piano or pianissimo, when you listen to great pianists perform them, you'll notice that they're nevertheless really projecting the melody out into the audience. The piano is there, but it's there as a sort of a character, as a calm, peaceful character. For example, if I play Träumerei from Schumann. Now, you could say that the overall character of what I just played is piano, but if you listen to the melody, I'm really playing every note deeply into the keys and really singing out the melody. And so on. So piano is really first and foremost about creating a particular atmosphere. But remember, you're still projecting those notes out into the audience. And so a lot of times you don't have to play as softly as you think you do. You can bring up the dynamic of everything so that you reach that sort of minimum level of sound where you can still control the notes really well. Now, I hope this video has been of some use to you. If you like it, please subscribe, leave your comments in the comment section, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon.